Okay, so as I said, number one is not multiple choice, but you have to know the vocabulary. And you just told me the standard form was from highest power to lowest power, right? So can you pick out the highest power in this polynomial? Okay, so we're going to need this whole term, which is negative 3y to the fifth. What would be the next highest? Yep, and it's going to be positive. Plus, right? Okay, so how's everybody making that into standard form? Is that okay for everybody? What does degree mean? The highest exponent. And what is my highest exponent? 5. So my degree is 5. And the leading coefficient is in the number in the very, very front, which is negative 3. So folks, do you understand your terminology here? Do you understand your vocabulary? Okay, so the next 4 problems are all sum or difference problems. What does sum and difference mean? Add and subtract. So that's the first thing. You need to look at the problem, and you will see in number 2 that we are adding. Now, folks, when we add, you can only put like terms together. Fair enough? Okay, so do you have any like terms that start with the 7a? 7a and negative a. Please notice they're both in the same parentheses, but that doesn't matter. What is 7a minus a? 6a, he says. So I want to look at all of these problems. I'm going to put down 6a right here. Do you have any that are not 6a's that I can eliminate? A has 6a. Does everybody see this 6a right here? What about this guy? That says 7a, right? Do I want there to be 7a's? No. So it can't be this one. How about letter C? Letter C is good, and letter D is good. Is that all right for everybody? Okay, let's look at our B squareds. Do they have anybody to combine with? They don't, do they? So what am I going to do with it? I'm going to drop it down. So looking at what I have left, could I eliminate any more answers? A can be eliminated because I don't have negative 2b squared, do I? So this one can go. And it looks like these two are still in the running, right? Okay, now I have B's. Does that have anybody to combine with? So I'm going to drop it down. And how about this minus 4? Drop it down. That's my... The plus B was in both of these, wasn't it, folks? Yeah. Do you see how the plus B is in both of them? But this one's a plus 4. I don't want a plus 4, do I? I want a minus 4, so it has to be letter C. So do you see how I was deliberate in doing the problem and seeing if I can eliminate answers? Fair enough? Did I even need to worry about the 6a squareds? No, because I'm down to one answer already. Okay, so let's try another one. What are we doing in this next problem? We are subtracting. So let's start with our A's. We can put them together. When you put them together and you... Okay, calculators out, on, ready to go? Carefully subtract them. 12, he says. And those are 12 A's. Do any of these answers not have 12A? D does not have 12 A's. So it can't be that one. All right, how about our A squareds here? Drop it down. Minus 2A squared. Which one can I eliminate now? A can go because that's a positive 2A squared. Does everybody see where I'm going with this? Now, here's where it's tricky. This guy does not go with anybody. No. It's being subtracted. Does everybody see how it's after the minus sign? So minus a minus turns into positive 4. That's where it's tricky, which tells me my answer should be letter C. Subtraction problems are where you have to be careful with this. Everybody good? Got a couple more of these, right? Okay. Number 4. I have P's. And I have P's. What am I supposed to be doing with these? Subtracting them carefully. 15. So I can get rid of... Now, it's not P to the second. When I subtract and when I add, I keep them the way they are. It's just 15P. So which one can I eliminate, folks? B does not have that 15p. All right, let's go to the q squareds. Carefully subtract them. I don't have negative 13. I have negative 6, and this is q to the second. So can I get rid of any more? This guy does not have negative 6q to the second. All right, and I just have this regular q right here, don't I? Are there any other regular q's? Nope, so I'm just going to drop it down. Do you all see how it's before the minus sign? Yes, so we drop it in. And then last but not least, I have this 8p squared. Now, folks, I can't just drop it down because it's being subtracted. So if you subtract this, what is it going to be? Negative 8p squared. So it looks like it's going to be letter D. Be deliberate, please, and show your work. Number 5. What kind of a problem we got going on here? Addition. All right, let's add our A's. 14 A's. Can I get rid of anybody? Nope, they all have 14 A's. Now I have negative 2a squared. What about that guy? Negative 2a squared. Do they all have that? No. C does not, and A does not. And last but not least, I have a 3, and it's positive, and it's after an adding sign, so I'm just going to drop it in. Answer will be letter B as in boy. Okay, how do we feel about adding and subtracting? A-okay? We're sure? Good, so let's go all the way to the back. The very back page. The triangle problem, please. Okay. Again, I'm on the very back page. Triangle problem. Not like the very, very back of the packet. Yep, there we go. Okay, so take a look at this problem. What have I given you here? 2 polynomials, and those are the 2 sides. Everybody see that this side here and this side here, I have told you the representation of those. What else did I tell you? The perimeter. This guy up here is the perimeter. How do you find the perimeter? Add all the sides, but I don't have this side over here. I'm missing it. Perfect. We're going to add these 2 sides that I know, and then I'm going to subtract it from there. Fair enough? Now, we just did adding, okay? You only can add things that go together. So does anybody go with this 3x squared? No. Next, I have this minus x and 6x. Remember, I'm adding these. What do you get? 5x. Good. And then I get this plus 4 and minus 7. You're telling me is negative 3. So now you want me to subtract that from the perimeter, correct? So here's the mistake that everybody makes. So please just hear me out on this so you don't make this mistake. You guys will put the perimeter up here, and then you'll say, okay, I want to subtract it. I can't do this because I want to subtract the whole thing, correct? Right now, it looks like I'm just subtracting the 3x squared. I want to subtract this entire parentheses. So please be sure you put parentheses around that trinomial for me. Okay, so this guy, and actually you probably should put parentheses around this binomial too. This guy goes with this guy. What happens? They're gone. This guy goes with this guy. 2 x's. And this guy is all by himself. Don't drop it down. It's going to end up being a plus 3. And this would be the final answer for my missing side. Yeah. Negative, negative turns it into a positive. Okay, so that's my adding and subtracting. Are we all good with that? Okay, let's go back to where we left off. I believe it's number 6. What are we doing here? We are multiplying. In fact, we're distributing. So what are we going to do with our coefficients? Multiply them, and what are you going to do with your exponents? Add them. So let's start in the back with Mr. Stahl. Distribute here for me, sir. What do you get? Okay. Keep going. Okay, and last one. So I haven't even looked at my answer choices yet. I have now solved the problem, and now I want you to go back and tell me which answer matches. B as in boy. That guy right there. Good? Questions for me? Okay. Again, work it out first, then find your answer. We're going to do the same thing in number 7. Did you need that, Dalton, again? I'm sorry. You sure? Okay. Number 7, Dalton, I'm going to have you distribute here. What do you get when you multiply those numbers for me? Yep. Yep. How about your S's? Yep. How about your T's? Perfect. Okay, I just wanted him to do that one. We're going to come over to Logan for the middle one now. Can you multiply those numbers for me, sir? The coefficients. Yep. Numbers in front. 32. How many S's will you get? So right here and right here. If you put them together, how many S's do you have? Nope. S's here, S's here. There's a 1 right there. 4 and 1 make 5. What's that? That's why we're reviewing it. How about my T's? If you put your T's together, how many will you have? Add them together. 6. Back to Cody for the last term. What do you get for your number when you multiply those? Okay, now I want to make sure this is good with this S to the 4. Does everybody see how there's no S's on this term right here? But there were S's when you distributed, so that's why they're coming into play. Do we got an answer? B as in boy, he says. Looks good to me. How's the distributing? Just fine? A-okay? Okay, let's actually solve some equations now. Do y'all see how there's equal signs in these two problems? Okay, so we are going to need to distribute first. So Sarah, could you distribute for me? What is 4x times negative x? Yep, and then this is x to the first, and x to the first makes x to the second. And then how about 4x times negative 3, ma'am? Now, guys, you should be writing this off to the side. That's where all the room is. You said negative 12, Sarah? And an x on that? Equals. Let's come over to Savannah. Can you distribute the 2 for me? Wonderful. And then we're going to drop down the minus 2. Guys, how are we doing with distributing? Okay, Dylan, do you have anything you can combine before I start? What does that make? Okay. All right, now I got to get my x's together. But I have x squared and x's, don't I? Let's handle the x squareds first. How am I going to get my x squareds together? Say it again. Do the opposite of what you see. And what happens to them both, Dylan? They cancel. Done. They're gone. So I have negative 12x equals negative 6. And Dylan, you might as well finish this. How do I solve that? By negative 12? 1/2, is that okay? Could you tell me 0.5 and still be okay? Yeah. Any questions on that guy? No? Fine? All right, Derek, how about number 9? Can you distribute for me? Awesome. Everybody keep up with that okay? Yeah? Luke, when you're ready, is there anything I can combine before I start this? Those two, right? That one we'll worry about in a second. So what do we get here? M minus 2m. Nope. There's a 1 right here. What is 1 minus 2? He'll get it. -1 minus 2. There you go. Gonna have to. Anything else go together? Gives you? Perfect. So now this is what I'm looking at. All right, Mr. Stalin, back to you. Let's get the m squareds together. How am I going to do that? What happens to them? They're gone. Everybody okay with them being gone? Now you should be able to solve this from here. I want to get my regular m's together. I always tell you to move the smaller one over. So Dalton, which one are you going to move over? And how are you going to do that? Do I really need the 1 in front of the m? No, because then I'll be done if I just leave the 1 off. And m is 6. Perfect. Well done, sir. How do you feel about solving those equations? Fair enough? Easy? All right. Next set of problems. What are we doing? We had adding problems. We had subtracting problems. It's just multiplying. You guys see how it says product? Yes? Yeah. This is how many terms right here? 2. This is how many terms? 2. So it's a binomial times a? What do we do with them? Cut them in half. Yep. And then do your distributing. So I'm going to cut it right there. R times R plus 5. Everybody see how it's a minus 7? Luke, you doing okay back there? Yeah? The minus has to go with the 7, and then I have R plus 5. How's the setup for everybody? Good? Great? Grand? Wonderful? All right, Sarah, so what's R times R? To the... There we go. There's little ones on there, so it's R the second. How about here? R times 5. R times 5. So see, the 5 was my coefficient, right? But what else do I need on that? R. There we go. Now I need to distribute the negative 7 to the R. R. And then negative 7 times 5. Perfect. Last but not least, Sarah, can you combine your middle terms here? And those are R's minus 35. So my answer here is letter D, it looks like. Is everybody good with D here? Dalton, did you have a question for me, kiddo? You're sure? How we doing? Cut in half. Good? All right, so, what's going on with this one? How many times am I going to rewrite it? Twice. Did everybody see how it's being squared? Folks, you cannot, let me stress to you, you cannot just square this and square this because of the minus sign in there. That is a binomial. So like Dalton told me to do, I'm going to write it twice. And I'm going to do the same thing. So Cody, can you do the setup for me? Can you chop it in half and tell me what that would look like? Okay. How is everybody with the setup? Are we okay with this? Okay, so Logan, let's distribute now. 4 times 4 is? Okay, then R and R makes R to the... Good. What is 4 times 7? Say what? I didn't hear what you said. Before that, I didn't... You said something. 28 what? R. Now distribute here, negative 7 times 4R. And those are R's again. And then you have a negative 7 times a negative 7. Wonderful. Dalton, did you have a question again, or are you good? Okay, I want to make sure you guys understand something about these R's. Right? Do these cancel? No, I have negative 28 and negative 28. They do not cancel. What do they make? Correct, which means my answer is A. Thank you. Please notice that is a plus 49 on the end. Good? Sure? Okay, so I think that you should be able to do 12, 13, 14, and 15. That'll be your homework. I'm jumping down to number 16. Nope, we're still on that page. Number 16. I think that's the bottom of the next page, right? Yeah. 16. What's going on in 16? Yep. Of a, how many terms here? Binomial times a trinomial. You still do the same thing. Cut it in half, right? Dylan, can you tell me the setup here? No, plus 3k? Minus. Okay, what's the second part then? Now hold on, see how it's plus? Plus 3? Okay. Awesome. How is that for you guys? Same deal? Yeah? All right, Dylan, distribute here for me. What do you get? Perfect. Keep going. Good. Keep going. Awesome. Second part. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Distributing's all good, I hope. A lot of this test is on distributing. All right, Savannah. The 20k to the third gets dropped down. How many k squareds do I get? Mm-hmm. And those are k squareds. How many regular k's, ma'am? And then your constant of negative 24 gets dropped down. Now notice that is not a multiple choice question. You will need to show me your full work and give me a full answer there. Okay. Can we do one more and then I'll let you finish on your own? Yeah? All right. Take a look at that last one at the bottom there. What kind of shapes do you see? I see rectangles too. What about these rectangles am I trying to find? The area of the shaded part. Do you see how part of it's shaded and part of it's white? Yeah. The shaded part is all part of which rectangle? The big one. Do you agree that everything that is shaded comes from the big rectangle? Okay. What about the white portion? Where does that come from? The smaller rectangle. Fair enough? Yes? So I want the big rectangle, but I don't want that little guy. So how do I do that? You subtract it. If I don't want it, I'm going to take it out or I'm going to subtract it. Okay? So let's start with the big rectangle. I want to find the area. How do you find the area of any rectangle? Length times width, right? Well, my length would be this part up here, wouldn't it? Do you see how this part is A and this part is A plus 2? What would you do with those two things to get the whole length? You would add them. If you add them, what is A and A? It's 2A. If I'm adding them, it's 2A. And then you have the plus 2 for your constant. Is everybody all right with that? What is the width of this thing? So what are you going to do with those two things? Yep. So A times 2A is, there's your second, and A times 2 is, that's my big rectangle. Now I got to find the small rectangle. Still rectangle, so it's still length times width, right? What's your length? What's your width? What is A times 2? 2A. And then what am I going to do with these things? I'm going to subtract them. Now, folks, I need you to understand. I am not going to put this in parentheses over here because it's only one term. Does everybody see that? If it was more than one term, like say you had a +7 on the end, you would need to put them in parentheses. Are we crystal clear on that? Okay, but it's not. So all I got to do is combine my like terms. Yeah, these cancel right here. They're gone. I just have 2a to the second power. Perfect. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, so you have what, 4 problems to do? That's all I need for you to do for homework. And then your test will be tomorrow. Just those 4. Make sure if you have a power of 2 on the outside, you write it twice. Anybody have any questions for me? No? Okay. What can I do for you, man? This is for Dylan. Now? At 2:15. So yeah, now.